Good morning. Welcome back to yet another section of Bees with Words. Today we are going to start the second section. It's the collection of short stories. We are going to begin the first short story, Appointment in Samara, written by William Somerset Maugham. Who is William Somerset Maugham? W. Somerset Maugham, in full William Somerset Maugham, was born on January 25, 1874 in France. He died on December 16, 1965. He was an English novelist, playwright and short story writer whose work is characterized by a clear, unadorned style, cosmopolitan settings, and a shrewd understanding of human nature. He wrote so many novels, plays, and also short stories. About his writing style, he had an unadorned style. Unadorned means not decorated. It is easy for anyone to read and understand. He used an unadorned style. He also used cosmopolitan settings. He had intelligent in understanding of human nature. He was one of the most popular authors of his era. Maugham was orphaned at the age of 10. He was brought up by an uncle and educated at King's School, Canterbury. He already lost his parents at the age of 10. That's why his uncle took his responsibility and he gave the education at King's School, Canterbury. After a year at Heidelberg, he entered St. Thomas Medical School, London, and qualified as a doctor in 1897. He drew upon his experiences as an obstetrician in his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth. It was published in 1897, and its success, though small, encouraged him to abandon medicine. By his profession, he was a doctor. When he published his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, he published his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, in 1897. In that novel, he talks about his own experiences as an obstetrician. Obstetrician means doctor who specializes in pregnancy, childbirth. I repeat, obstetrician means doctor who specializes in pregnancy and childbirth. Through his very famous novel, Lisa of Lambeth, he shared his own experiences as an obstetrician. We can see that Lisa of Lambeth and its success, though small, encouraged him. That's why he decided to abandon his profession. Abandon means give up completely. That's why he gave up his profession. He started to concentrate on writing. He travelled in Spain and Italy in 1908, achieved a theatrical triumph. 4 plays running in London at once. That brought him financial security. He was also interested in travelling. In 1908, he travelled in Spain and also Italy. After that, we can see that his 4 plays running in London at once. It made him financial security. During World War I, he worked as a secret agent. After the war, he resumed his interrupted travels and in 1928 bought a villa on Cape Ferrat in the south of France, which became his permanent house. His reputation as a novelist rests primarily on 4 books. Then we are going to discuss about those 4 books. Of Human Bondage. This book was published in 1915. It is a semi-autobiographical account of a young medical student's painful progress toward maturity. Then the next book is The Moon and Sixpence. The Moon and Sixpence was published in 1919. It is an account of an unconventional artist suggested by the life of Paul Gauguin. The next work is Cakes and Ale. Cakes and Ale was published in 1930. It is the story of a famous novelist which is thought to contain caricatures of Thomas Hardy and Hugh Walpole. The 4th work is The Razor's Edge. The Razor's Edge was published in 1944. It is the story of a young American war veteran's quest for a satisfying way of life. Then I want to speak about his plays. I already told you he is a playwright. Maugham's plays, mainly Edwardian social comedies, soon became dated, but his short stories have increased in popularity. Many portray the conflict of Europeans in alien surroundings that provoke strong emotions. I just gave an introduction about William Somerset Maugham. Then we are going to speak about William Somerset Maugham in detail. Let us start with Maugham's childhood and education. I think all of you remembered well, he became orphan at the age of 10. Maugham's father was an English lawyer handling the legal affairs of the British Embassy in Paris. Grandfather, also Robert, was himself a prominent lawyer and confounder of the English Law Society. Maugham was born in a lawyer's family. About his mother, Maugham's mother, Edith Mary, was consumptive, a condition for which the doctors of the time prescribed childbirth. As a result, Maugham had 3 older brothers, already enrolled in boarding school by the time he was 3, and Maugham was effectively raised as an only child. Sadly, since childbirth proved no cure for tuberculosis, Edith Mary Maugham died at the age of 41, 6 days after the stillbirth of her final son. The death of his mother left Maugham traumatized for life, and he kept his mother's photograph by his bedside until his own death at the age of 91 in Nice in France. From this line itself, you can easily understand the deep relationship between Maugham and his mother. 2 years after his mother's death, Maugham's father died of cancer. That's why I told you he became an orphan at the age of 10. William was sent back to England to be cared for his uncle Henry MacDonald Maugham, the vicar of Whitstable in Kent. That's why one of his uncles, Henry MacDonald Maugham, he took the responsibility of William Somerset Maugham. Henry MacDonald Maugham was a priest. Henry Maugham proved cold and emotionally cruel. The King's School, Canterbury, where William was a boarder during school terms, proved an inhospitable place, where he was teased for his bad English and his short stature, which he inherited from his father. Maugham was not at all happy in the King's School, Canterbury, because there he was teased for his bad English and also his short stature. That's why he became very sad to spend the days in the King's School, Canterbury. More than that, I told you, his uncle Henry Maugham proved cold and emotionally cruel. He was not at all sweet to Maugham. It is at this time that Maugham developed the stammer that would stay with him all his life, although it was sporadic and subject to mood and circumstance. Maugham developed the stammer that would stay with him all his life. Stammer means it's very difficult to pronounce the first word of the sentences. In Malayalam, Vikka. So at this time that Maugham developed the stammer that would stay with him all his life, although it was sporadic. Sporadic means unpredictable. We can predict that when he felt the difficulty to pronounce the first alphabet of a word. It depends on the mood and circumstance. When he becomes tensed, he couldn't get the pronunciation easily. He was denied the chance to see others express their own emotions. He was quiet, private, but very curious child. Maugham was miserable both at the vicarage and at school, where he was bullied because of his small size and his stammer. As a result, he developed a talent of applying a wounding remark to those who displeased him. This ability is sometimes reflected in the characters that populate his writings. I told you, Maugham developed the stammer that would stay with him all his life. That's why he was not at all ready to share his own emotions with others. He was very silent character. At the same time, he was a very curious child. Maugham was very sad both at the vicarage. Vicarage means the house in which a vicar lives. I think all of you remembered well, he is living with his uncle, Vicar Henry. So he was not at all happy the vicarage and also at school, because he always insulted because of his small size and his stammer. That's why he felt loneliness. He was not at all happy with his uncle and also in his school. As a result, he developed a talent for applying a wounding remark to those who displeased him. He was not at all ready to reveal his emotions to others. The other students in the school, they started to insult him. Finally, he decided to leave that school, the King's School, at his 16th age. He got the permission from his uncle Henry. He started to travel to Germany. There, he studied literature and philosophy at Heidelberg University. After the education, on his return to England, his uncle found Maugham a position in an accounts office. But after a month, Maugham gave it up and returned to Whitstable. His uncle was not pleased and set about finding Maugham a new profession. Maugham's father and 3 older brothers were all distinguished lawyers, and Maugham asked to be excused from the duty of following their footsteps. The local doctor suggested the profession of medicine, and Maugham's uncle reluctantly approved this. Maugham had been writing steadily since the age of 15 and fervently intended to become an author. But because Maugham was not of age, he could not confess this to his guardian. So he spent the next 5 years as a medical student in London. That period, a local doctor suggested the profession of medicine. That's why Maugham got the admission as a medical student. Actually, he was interested in writing. When he was just 15-year-old, he started to write. But he was not at all confident to reveal his desire to his guardian Henry. Finally, he got the admission. He spent there the next 5 years as a medical student in London. Then I want to speak about his early works and his career. Many readers and some critics have assumed that the years Maugham spent studying medicine were a creative dead end. But Maugham himself felt quite the contrary. I tell you, Maugham was not at all interested to study medicine because he was interested in writing. He started to write at the age of 15, but he was not at all confident to reveal his passion with his guardian Henry. That's why he was forced to take the admission as a medical student. Readers and critics have assumed that these 5 years Maugham spent studying medicine were a creative dead. But at that period, Maugham was very quiet, very silent. Maugham kept his own lodgings, took pleasure in furnishing them, filled many notebooks with literary ideas, pleasure in furnishing them nightly, while at the same time studying of his degree in medicine. In 1897, he presented his second book for consideration. Actually, the first book was a biography of Meyerbeer written by the 16-year-old Maugham in Heidelberg. He wrote his first work when he was just 16. It was a biography of Mayer Beer. When he spent the 5 years as a medical student, then I want to speak about his famous work, Lisa of Lambeth. Lisa of Lambeth is a tale of working class adultery and its consequences drew its details from Morgan's experiences as a medical student doing midwifery work in the London slum of Lambeth. Lisa of Lambeth proved popular with both reviewers and the public, and the first print run sold out in a matter of weeks. This was enough to convince Morgan, who had qualified as a doctor, to drop medicine and start on his 65-year career as a man of letters. Lisa of Lambeth is his first novel. Before that, actually, he wrote a work, biography of Mayer Beer. But through this novel, Lisa of Lambeth, he became world famous. In this novel, he shared his own experiences as a medical student in the London slum of Lambeth. When the novel proved popular with both reviewers and the readers and the public, he decided to give up his profession as a doctor. He became confident to concentrate on his writings. You know, he spent 65 years as a man of letters. Definitely it was a right decision. The writer's life allowed Morgan to travel and live in places such as Spain and Capri for the next decade. But his next 10 works never came close to equal the success of Lisa. We already understood he was interested in traveling. When he gave up his profession as a doctor, when he started to write seriously, he got the opportunities to travel a lot. But the next 10 works never came close to equal the success of Lisa of Lambeth. By 1914, Morgan was famous with 10 plays produced and 10 published novels. Too old to enlist when World War I broke out, Morgan served in France as a member of the British Red Cross, so-called literally ambulance drivers, a group of some 23 well-known writers including Ernest Hemingway, John Dos Passos and E. Cummings. During this time he met Frederick Gerald Haxton, a young San Franciscan who became his companion and lover until Haxton's death in 1944. Throughout this period, Morgan continued to write. We can say that by 1914, Morgan was famous. He already wrote 10 plays and 10 published novels. When World War I broke out, Morgan served in France as a member of the British Red Cross. It is known as literary ambulance drivers. He met Ernest Hemingway, John Dos Passos and E. Cummings. He also met Frederick Gerald Haxton, a young San Franciscan who became his companion and lover until Haxton's death in 1944. So we can see that there is a deep relationship between Frederick Gerald Haxton and Maugham. Quiet and observant, Maugham had a good temperament for intelligence work. He believed that he had inherited from his lawyer father a gift for cool judgment, never losing the chance to turn real life into a story. Maugham made his spying experiences into a collection of short stories about a gentlemanly, sophisticated, aloof spy, Essendon, a volume that influenced the Ian Fleming James Bond series. I think if you remembered well, during the World War I, he worked as a secret agent or spy. So he shared his experiences as a spy through his collection of short stories. Aloof Spy, Essendon. It's a volume that influenced the Ian Fleming James Bond series. In 1922, Maugham dedicated on a Chinese screen a book of 58 ultra short story sketches collected during his 1920 travels through China and Hong Kong. He also wrote about his travelling experiences. One of the examples is on a Chinese screen. It's a book of 58 ultra short story sketches collected during his 1920 travels through China and Hong Kong. In 1928, Maugham bought villa which would be his home for most of the rest of his life, and one of the great literary and social saloons of the 1920s and 1930s. So rest of his life he spent in his villa Maurice on 12 acres at Cape Ferrat. His output continued to be prodigious, including plays, short stories, novels, essays and travel books. So he already wrote plays, novels, short stories, essays and also travel books. By 1940, when the collapse of France forced Maugham to leave the French Riviera and become a well-heeled refugee, he was already one of the most famous writers in the English-speaking world and one of the wealthiest. Then I want to speak about his achievements. Commercial success with high book sales, successful play productions and a string of film adaptations backed by astute stock market investments allowed Maugham to live a very comfortable life. From all these sources, writing, film field and also the stock market, he got the money and he lived a very comfortable life. Small and weak as a boy, Maugham had been proud even of his stamina, and as an adult he kept churning out the books, proud that he could. Maugham's homosexual leanings also shaped his fiction in two ways. Since in life he tended to see attractive women as sexual rivals, he often gave the women of his fiction sexual needs and appetites, in a way quite unusual for authors of his time. Maugham had begun collecting theatrical paintings before the First World War, continuing until his collection was second only to that of the Garrick Club. In 1948, he announced that he would bequeath this collection of the trustees of the National Theatre, and from 1951, some 14 years before his death, his paintings began their exhibition life. 1994, they were placed on loan to the Theatre Museum in Covent Garden. He was also interested to collect theatrical paintings. Later, he gave these paintings to the National Theatre. They already placed an exhibition from 1994 in Covent Garden. So I hope all of you got a clear idea about William Somerset Maugham. All of you please take the textbook, page number 59. Introduction about William Somerset Maugham. William Somerset Maugham was a British playwright, novelist and short story writer. He was born in Paris as the fourth son of Edith Mary Neasnell and Robert Ormond Maugham, a lawyer for the British Embassy. He was orphaned at the age of 10, after which he lived with his uncle and aunt at England. I think all of you remembered well name of his uncle. He was a vicar. He qualified as a surgeon, though he did not practice. We already discussed about his profession in detail, how he reached into the profession as a doctor, why he left that profession. All these we discussed it in detail. His first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, was published in the year 1897, which drew materials from his experience as a medical student at the slum of Lambeth. His notable works include of Human Bondage, The Moon and Sixpence, The Painted Veil, Cakes and Ale, and The Razor's Edge. During the First World War, he served as an ambulance driver along with other well-known writers like Ernest Hemingway and E. E. Cummings to be a part of literary ambulance drivers. He also worked for the British Secret Intelligence Service. I told you he worked as a spy. The experiences of which were recounted in Ashenden or the British agent. When he worked as a spy or secret intelligence service, he shared his experiences in his work Ashenden or the British agent. It was published in 1928. The experiences from his travels in Europe, North America, India and other parts of Asia were included in many stories and novels. I already told you he was interested in traveling. He also wrote travelogues. His plays include Lady Frederick, Jack Straw, The Unknown, R. Betters, The Constant Wife and Sheppey. Sheppey is very important. All these are his very famous plays. I repeat, Lady Frederick, Jack Straw, The Unknown, R. Betters, The Constant Wife and Sheppey. These are his very famous plays. So Samara, it is a city that stands on the east bank of Tigris. Samara lies approximately 70 miles north of Baghdad. The city was earlier called Saramandra, which means a delight for all who see. That was the meaning of Saramandra. Then it becomes Samara. The name was then shortened to Samara. Its meaning, a delight for all who see. You read the story, think about the significance of Samara in the title. So it's very important. You should have an idea about Samara and Baghdad. Actually, we are giving the title for a short story, novel or film, whatever it is. It has a direct connection with the story or novel. Can you assume that through this title what the author wants to convey? You just think about it. The Appointment in Samarra is a retelling of an Arabic tale. Actually, it's a retelling of an Arabic story. It is a 9th century Arabian Sufi story from Fudayl ibn Iyad's Hikaya Naqshiyya. Somerset Maugham included this tale at the end of his play Sheppey as a conversation between the protagonist Sheppey and death. Actually, it is a retelling of an Arabic tale. He got the idea from an Arabic story. Protagonist means the leading character in that novel. So, Maugham added this short story Appointment in Samarra in his very famous play Sheppey as a conversation between the protagonist or hero of the novel Sheppey and death. It is very important. University is always asking the question, in which play Maugham added the short story Appointment in Samarra. The play is Sheppey. In the 1960s, the tale was included in a collection of Sufi stories by Idris Shah. We can also see that it already added the Sufi stories by Idris Shah. A similar but older tale is also founded in the Babylonian Talmud, Sukkah 53, which involves King Solomon, an angel of death, and two scribes of King Solomon. Maugham's retelling of the story was used as an epigraph to a 1952 novel by John O'Hara. We can see that John O'Hara, the famous novelist, he also used the same title, Appointment in Samarra, for his novel. The tale was included in Jeffrey Arthur's collection of the short stories to cut a long story short. So, it's very important. William Somerset Maugham added this very simple short story, Appointment in Samarra, in one of his very famous plays, Sheppey, as a conversation between the protagonist of the novel, Sheppey, and death. I hope all of you got a clear idea about the writer William Somerset Maugham. We will start the short story Appointment in Samarra in our next class. Thank you.